under the bright lights of the boxing world. Few names shine as brightly as Devin Haney, better known by his nickname, The Dream. As of now, Haney has carved out his place not just as one of America's most gifted fighters, but as one of its most disciplined, outspoken, and polarizing champions. At only 26 years old, he has lived the kind of life that feels decades longer. From fighting grown men in the back gyms of Mexico as a teenager, to hoisting the belts of undisputed glory, to battling not only rivals in the ring but controversies outside it. Financially, Haney's efforts have translated into serious wealth. Public estimates peg his net worth at around $6 million as of 2025. That figure is driven by his pay-per-view fights, championship purses, and lucrative brand endorsements with companies like Monster Energy, Puma, Everlast, and SNAC. Yet, as with most fighters at the pinnacle, those numbers don't tell the whole story. His profile skyrocketed with the Ryan Garcia fight in 2024, which despite its controversial outcome, placed him squarely in front of millions of eyeballs worldwide. Endorsements, investments, and sponsorships followed. Whether his wealth is modest compared to some boxing legends or understated compared to his earnings, one truth remains clear. Devin Haney is not only wealthy, he is strategically building a brand meant to outlast his days in the ring. But to understand Haney, his confidence, his faith, his stubborn resilience, you must step back to where it all began. Early life. Devin Haney was born on November 17, 1998, in San Francisco, California, though much of his formative life was spent across the bay in Oakland. His father, Bill Haney, recognized early on that Devin was a child brimming with energy, quick temper, and an instinct to fight. Stories often recall a young Devin getting into schoolyard scraps, restless and combative, until his father redirected that fire into boxing gloves. Bill Haney wasn't just a dad, he became Devin's guiding force. He wasn't a world champion himself, but he had enough boxing knowledge, street sense, and ambition to carve a path for his son. Together, they created what would become one of the most talked about father-son partnerships in modern boxing. His mother, April Clay, while not as prominently featured in media narratives, was equally part of his support system, offering a softer counterbalance to the relentless demands of training and discipline. Unlike some fighters who grow up with a tribe of siblings, Devin's story is relatively singular. No well-documented brothers or sisters have stepped into the public eye. That isolation may have fueled his obsession. Where others shared toys or competed for parental attention, Devin competed with himself, sharpening his fists against the heavy bag and testing his will against older sparring partners. By the time he was 7, boxing wasn't just an after-school activity. It was his identity. And by 14, Bill Haney made the life-altering decision to uproot his family from Oakland and relocate to Las Vegas, Nevada, the fight capital of the world. In Vegas, Devin's classroom was the gym, his teachers were fighters, and his textbooks were the sweat-stained mitts his father held out for him every day. Though his formal education remains largely out of the public record, it is widely accepted that Haney chose the school of boxing over the school of college lectures. His life was destined for the ring. Personal life. Haney's personal life, like many young stars, has been under a magnifying glass. The headlines of 2025 paint a complex picture. He is not married, though he has been linked romantically to various women over the years. But the most significant relationship in his life outside the ring is undoubtedly with his daughter, Chrome, born in January 2025. Fatherhood marked a turning point for Haney. In interviews, he spoke about wanting to fight not just for legacy or belts, but to provide a future for Chrome. The little girl, whose arrival was celebrated on social media, quickly became the center of his world. Yet, the joy of fatherhood came tangled with controversy. Chrome's mother, Lena Syed, filed a lawsuit in 2025, accusing Haney of abuse and seeking legal protections. Haney, in turn, launched his own lawsuit, alleging defamation and extortion. The dispute became public, fueling tabloid frenzy. For every fan who saw Haney as a victim of false claims, another saw him as reckless outside the ring. Either way, the story humanized him, a reminder that champions are men, prone to the same storms of love, anger, and legal entanglements as anyone else. Beyond his private battles, Haney is outspoken about his Muslim faith. He observes Ramadan, often adjusting his training schedule to accommodate fasting and prayer. He has credited Islam with keeping him grounded, focused, and disciplined in a sport notorious for temptations. In interviews, Haney describes his religion as the anchor that steadies him amidst chaos. In terms of other ventures, Haney has dipped into brand endorsements and entrepreneurial avenues. From rocking Puma gear to promoting Monster Energy, his business side is quietly growing. While he hasn't yet launched a major foundation or global business empire, at just 26, the stage is set for him to expand. With his social media presence, where luxury cars, flashy outfits, and motivational messages blend seamlessly, Haney is already cultivating an empire of influence that stretches far beyond the ropes. Professional career. Early fights in Mexico. The story of Haney's career has become part of boxing folklore. Too young to fight professionally in America, he and his father packed their bags and crossed into Tijuana, Mexico, where the rules allowed a 16-year-old to lace up gloves for money. There, against journeymen and local brawlers, Devin sharpened his style. He racked up wins, learned composure, and built the grit that would define him. The rise. By 2015, he was fighting in the U.S., collecting regional titles like poker chips, WBC Youth, IBF North American, WBO Intercontinental. Each belt was a stepping stone, each opponent a lesson. In 2019, Devin's career took a leap. When Vasyl Lomachenko was elevated to franchise champion, the WBC promoted Haney from interim champion to full WBC lightweight world champion. Critics questioned the legitimacy of the move, saying he hadn't truly beaten the best. But Devin silenced doubters by defending his title against fighters like Alfredo Santiago, Yuri Ortiz Gamboa, and Jorge Linares. The dream becomes undisputed. The defining moment of his career came in 2022, when he traveled to Australia to fight George Kambosos Jr. Haney dominated with clinical precision, unifying the lightweight division and becoming the first undisputed lightweight champion of the four-belt era. At just 23 years old, he was on top of the boxing world. He defended the titles again in the rematch, proving it wasn't a fluke. Super lightweight glory and controversy. In 2023, Haney moved up to 140 pounds. He faced Regis Prograis, a feared puncher, and neutralized him with slick boxing, becoming the WBC Super Lightweight Champion. By then, the boxing world recognized Haney as not only talented, but daring, a man unafraid to chase bigger challenges. But in 2024, a storm brewed. Haney faced Ryan Garcia, a fight hyped as one of the biggest of the decade. The bout ended in a majority decision loss for Haney. Yet the victory was tainted when Garcia tested positive for banned substances and admitted to bizarre behavior, including missing weight by over 3 pounds. The result was officially changed to a no contest, but the damage was done. Critics debated whether Haney should have fought more aggressively. Supporters pointed out he had been robbed by a system that allowed Garcia to enter the ring with unfair advantages. Later in 2024, Haney vacated his WBC belt at 140 pounds, citing difficulties making weight and hinting at a move to 147 pounds, the welterweight division, home to legends like Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. As of late 2025, Haney stands at a crossroads. With 32 wins, no official losses, and 1 no contest, his record remains technically undefeated. He is eyeing a clash with Jose Ramirez, which could usher in the next chapter of his career at welterweight. Fans and pundits alike wait to see if the dream can rise once again, not just as a champion, but as a transcendent star. House tour and car collection. The house. Haney lives in Las Vegas, Nevada, the desert city that raised him as a fighter. His home, glimpsed through social media clips, is a testament to modern luxury. Clean lines, expansive windows, and art that signals taste as much as wealth. One standout piece is a KWS Bear Brick statue, a collectible that symbolizes his embrace of modern culture. While the exact square footage and price remain undisclosed, his house is rumored to be multi-million-dollar real estate, befitting a man who has headlined pay-per-view arenas. The gym in his home ensures that boxing is never far away, even in his moments of leisure. The cars. Devin Haney's car collection is as flashy as his ring entrances. Among his garage's crown jewels are Mercedes-Maybach S580, a statement of elegance; Lamborghini Urus, the fighter's choice for speed and flair; and Rolls-Royce Cullinan, the pinnacle of luxury SUVs. Each car reflects a side of Haney, the businessman, the thrill-seeker, the king. For a man still in his 20s, it is a collection many would consider a lifetime achievement. There is no college chapter in Haney's story. While his peers sat in lecture halls, Devin was in the gym, sparring men 10 years older, preparing for a career that demanded everything. His education came from the ring. His diploma was his first championship belt. As of today, Devin Haney is alive and still actively pursuing boxing greatness. There is no cause of death to report. Instead, his story is ongoing, with new pages written every time he steps into the ring. Devin Haney's journey is the embodiment of his nickname, the Dream. From the restless boy in Oakland to the undisputed lightweight champion. From Mexican rings at 16 to Las Vegas mansions at 26. His life is a testament to vision, discipline, and resilience. But the dream is also unfinished. His career has been tested by controversies, his personal life shaped by fatherhood and faith, and his reputation sharpened by both triumphs and trials. The next decade will determine whether Devin Haney is remembered merely as a great fighter of his era or as an all-time legend of boxing. For now, one thing is certain: the story of Devin Haney is still being written, and the world is watching.